take off the rose-tinted glasses and look at world history the way it actually happened. Look at world history the way it actually happened, and not the way somebody has dictated you it happened. For the truth is out there, with the numerous reels of recorded footage, the speeches made, and are not yet fully revised or edited. And also have a look at the ancient historical records of centuries past, of millenniums past, of various nations worldwide, again not yet revised or edited. Search for them, find them. Now, learn the following well. Listen, then learn the following well. There are always two faces or sides to any coin. There are two that argue in any argument, and often a third joins in their argument. The third party can often be afar, an antagonist who gossips, spreads rumours, exaggerates events that are happening or happen between the two in argument. Recognise or identify that third party, that antagonist, and remove them from the argument. If they are not helping but are adding additional cause to fuel the fire or add more argument between the two that are arguing. And that will leave the two, once you remove them, find them and remove them, to hopefully come to a solution or resolution and understanding and agreement, hopefully, and argument will be over, settled, hopefully. If a similar third party could, there is one out there, they would eradicate all of the information readily available worldwide, or freely available worldwide. Hence, the suggested forthcoming 1984 copy of the Ministry of the Information or Ministry of the Truth in the book 1984 by George Orwell. It's supposedly coming, or it's already here. Notice that we, on this particular channel, are not dropping any names or any hints at a certain or central race or religion or culture, creed, as we are well aware, if we did, there will be heaped upon us consequences as a result. These would be in the form of retorts, false accusations, assumptions, lies, threats, via those false assumptions, accusations, lies, threats, etc., by those who are being manipulated by certain powerful elites or parties, their owners, their puppet masters who are pulling their very strings. Yes, they are the puppet masters, and those they are pulling the strings of are their marionettes. Without making statements or uttering statements directly at those behind all forms of BS told us, dictated us, told us, sold us, that we're bought into. Without those statements uttered, they can't come at us with their BS, for there is no basis for those false assumptions, accusations, lies, retorts, or threats at us as a consequence. Let us ask you a question. Have you pondered of late the said comment made by former US President Donald Trump? It's time to end democracy, as claimed he uttered this via the media. He has been ridiculed, lied about, etc. in regards to their statement, and he is viewed as evil, etc., on the basis that he is secretly seen as a major threat, a danger to the puppet masters with their secret hidden motives, agenda, propaganda, plans of world domination, perhaps even annihilation of all peoples by them and their kind. Somebody had realised this before, and they had pretty much right, but a certain faction of powerful elites joined forces and quelled it, squashed it, because it was a threat to their monetary, their profits, their gains. We have subtly kept under the radar by not providing sources, footage, etc. on what we've recently come across. You and you alone, dear listener, or one part of a collective or group, must work. It takes work. You must do personal research, looking for the facts and establishing the facts, and once found, establish those facts as fact, irrefutable, infallible facts. You have to find the evidence that proves that particular genre or that theory or that information as evident. It has to prove itself evident. You must do the research and find the evidence which proves itself beyond any doubt to be evident. You must do the research on those who write that information that you come across, who provide that information in its many forms, in many genres, from education, religion, history, etc. You must look into their personal lives or behind the scenes and determine if the said claims of their activities, their history, etc. is true or false. If false, you expose them. You must determine if the writers, authors, speakers who provide these writings or these books or this information and claim their facts as facts by proving that they're established facts, they have to synchronise. Okay, you have to verify that their proofs or the evidence they are presenting is actually proves itself, evidence that they are infallible, irrefutable writers, authors, etc., which in turn deems them irrefutable or infallible, irrefutable. Now, we bequest you, stop being a senseless, mindless, brainwashed, controlled parrot who consistently parrots all that the puppet masters present you, dictate you as the real truth, the whole truth, and the only truth when proven it isn't. Doing the research, establishing the facts, finding the evidence that proves self-evident, etc., takes work, hard work, and this is done through over many months to many years. It doesn't happen overnight. Filter all available information you come across in order to differentiate between the real truth and deliberate misinformation, disinformation, and complete fabrications or complete BS. Keep in mind, one must be prepared for justifiable correction by those truly in the know, and admit to them and apologise that your sources, when you come to realise it, are flawed, they're not correct, because you go and do the research again to find, say they suggested to you, oh no, that's wrong, it's not like that, the information is wrong. You go and you research it and you find, hopefully they provide you sources to look at that information, their sources, and then you can come back and say, okay, you are correct, information online or wherever I get it from sometimes can be flawed, our apologies, and here's the information that we found, and you provide those sources. And then this process or cycle must be continually repeated as necessary. We'd like to compare it to a laundrette service, a wash cycle, where all are gathered, all these items are gathered, inspected, and checked for inconsistencies or spots, and then are put through a cycle to remove those spots found. Just an idea. As we stated earlier, all information is out there, freely available in the world from different resources. All is freely available for now, but you need to find it before it will have to go through a created filtering method or system representative to George Orwell's 1984 Ministry of Information or Ministry of Truth. Supposedly it's here or it's coming. Where only their information, certain parties' information or truth, will be the truth. Even if you're proven highly qualified, you're expert, you're well known worldwide, globally, and you have the initials after your name, that won't mean a damn thing to them, because all they will say is our truth is the truth, yours is not. There is no other truth but ours, basically. Again, the truth, the real truth, the whole truth is out there. It's right under your nose, as well as their noses. You just have to go and find it, and that takes work. And you, the individual, have to realise it is out there. Then go find it through your own personal research and work on it and verify that it's established fact, the evidence proves self-evidence, etc., etc. It takes work, it takes effort, and a lot of times it's very hard work. So you've got to filter that information, you've got to check out if it's right, if it's wrong, false, true, etc. You have to be as wise and cunning as serpents, appearing as innocent, perhaps, innocent as doves, creating a mask, an illusion, a facade, if you have to, an illusion, a misdirection. It's like an untraceable paper trail in some cases. Look, you have two eyes, you have two ears, so why are you playing deaf, dumb and blind to the facts and evidence, etc.? Oh, because you have been educated or taught by certain authorities, parties of power via numerous genres, i.e. via traditional religions, culture, etc., religious texts, churches, temples, mosques, leaders or imams of those religiosities, writers, authors, their philosophies, ideologies, film, media, music, advertising, newspapers, through indoctrination, enculturation, mental slavery and habits. Habits that are formed over a vast period of living become your addictions that you can never break free from. And we came to this realization when we read a book that we thought was true to life, right? Basically. But we then realized halfway through it that it was actually fiction, because there's too many of these names coming up of so-and-so president said this and so-and-so president said that, and they obviously weren't presidents. And it was called The Mind Parasites. It's a fictional novel. And we wrote this down about habit. Psychologists have been telling us for years that the human being is largely a machine. Lord Leicester, this is when we started to realise this guy never existed, compared human beings to grandfather clocks driven by watch springs. A single traumatic experience in childhood could be the foundation for a lifelong neurosis. We strongly believe that, because we have people around us that have had these traumas and now they have these neuroses. One or two happy experiences in childhood make a man an optimist for life. The body will destroy the germs of a physical illness within a week, but the mind will preserve germs of morbidity or fear for a lifetime. Why? Because the mind tends to be stagnant as far as the life forces go. It works on habit, and these habits are tremendously difficult to break, particularly the negative ones. In other words, once the human being has been conditioned by the mind parasites, he is like a clock that has been wound up. He only requires attention once every year or so. Besides Weissman, another false name, we realised, fictional character, discovered human beings conditioned one another and saved the parasites' work, the mind parasites. The parents' attitude to life is passed on to the children. One gloomy and pessimistic writer with a powerful style affects a whole generation of writers, who in turn affect almost every educated person in the country. The fact, you see, is this: once you get the knack of using the mind properly, everything follows easily. is a matter of breaking a habit that human beings have acquired over millions of years of giving all their attention to the outside world and thinking of, quote, imagination, unquote, as a kind of escapism, instead of recognising that it is a brief excursion into the great unknown. Countries of the mind, by the looks of it. And then we found another book which isn't fictional. Parasites, This Is Your Brain, or This Is Your Brain on Parasites, by Kathleen McConnell, pages 196 to 197. Our forefathers went from being not particularly spiritual to embracing religion. Don't forget, in the Brita, the Aramaic, or Genesis in English, translated from the original ancient Tab Esrit, Nishan Atika Sapraya, by native-born Aramaic-speaking translator Victor Alexander. It speaks of pre-Adamic cave-dwelling hunter-gatherers created before the supposed first human being parents, Adam and Eve. And not just passing fads, but some of the most widely followed paths in the world today, faiths whose gods promise to reward the good and punish the evil. Hunter-gatherers, as we mentioned, the pre-Adamics, before Adam and Eve, at least today sometimes believe their spirits can influence the weather or other events. It's talking about these tribes, shamans, say tribes of Africa, Borneo, those ones that had all that sort of stuff. And people come across them now and again. But these mystical beings are really concerned about whether humans behave in a moral fashion. One of the oldest of these enduring beliefs is Judaism, whose most hallowed prophet Moses is equally revered in Christianity and in Islam. In the Quran, he goes by the name Musa and is referred to more times than Muhammad. So that's the excerpts from a fictional book, The Mind Parasites, and the non-fictional book, This Is Your Brain on Parasites, by Kathleen McConnell, pages 196 to 197, 198. Okay, we haven't uttered any statements directly at those behind all forms of the BS dictated us, told us, sold us. We haven't uttered any statements of one central race, religion, culture, creed, etc. being to blame for carrying out all the found BS. There is no basis for those, so there'd be no basis for those false assumptions, accusations, lies, retorts, or threats that come at us, because you haven't dropped any names. Here's a question. Have you pondered of late the said comment made by former US President Donald Trump, who supposedly stated it's time to end democracy? He claimed this via the media, apparently, and he in turn was ridiculed, lied about, etc., probably on the basis that he is secretly seen as a major threat, a danger to the puppet masters with their secret, hidden motives, agenda, propagandas, plans of world domination, perhaps even annihilation of all peoples by them and their kind. And we have found this through old footage from the 1930s onwards in speeches. We have subtly kept under the radar by not providing the sources to those, to the footage, etc. You, dear listener, and or viewer, you and you alone, or one as a part of a collective or group, must work. It takes work. You must do personal research, looking for the facts, and once found, establish those facts as fact, and the evidence as proving self-evident, and the claimants who bring this information be they authors, writers, etc., are irrefutable, infallible, and then their works will be deemed the same, irrefutable, infallible. You must do the research and find the evidence which proves itself beyond any doubt to be evidence. You must do the research on those who wrote or who provide that information in its many forms and many genres, from education, religion, history, etc., and look into their personal lives behind the scenes and determine if the said claims of their activities, their history, etc., is 100% true or totally false, and then expose them if it is. Because they may be saying one thing, but behind the scenes they're actually doing another. Where originally they were against it, they're actually practicing it behind the scenes. They're involved with it. You must determine if the writers, authors, speakers, etc. of the claimed facts, evidence, or proofs are presenting all, and that they're irrefutable, infallible, proving their writings to be the same. Okay. You've got to dig for dirt. They have to be exposed. We bequeath you and all others to stop being a senseless, mindless, brainwashed, controlled parrot who consistently parrots all presented you, dictated you as the real truth, the whole truth, and the only truth, when it's proven it isn't. Research takes work, hard work, and this is done through many months, over many months to many years. Filter all available information you come across in order to differentiate it between the real truth and deliberate misinformation, disinformation, and complete fabrications or complete BS, to put it bluntly. And remember, one must be prepared for justifiable correction by those who are truly in the know. Not know-it-alls or wannabes, but those who are truly in the know. And admit to them that your sources, of which you should automatically provide, are actually correct, because sometimes the information that you think is correct is actually flawed, is wrong, but you don't realise it because it's been pushed as true. Okay, so that information could be incorrect, and you take their advice, you go, oh, okay, I'll have a look at it, see if we're actually right, provide the sources, hopefully they will, and then this process or cycle must be continually repeated whenever necessary. We'd like to compare it to a laundrette service, a wash cycle, where all this information is gathered, spot cleaned, checked out, right? Anything that's doesn't sound right, maybe removed from it, etc., and any inconsistencies, and are put through a cycle to remove these found. As we stated earlier, all information is out there in the world from different sources, resources, all is freely available for now, before it will have to go through a created filtering method system